Hello students, welcome to today's lecture on data structures. So in our previous class we have completed the second unit, and today we will start unit 3, and the topics in third unit is two linear data structures. One is queues and the second chapter is about stacks. So let us begin the first chapter, which is about queues. So what is a queue? Definition of queue is a linear data structure. Remember this word. Queue is a linear data structure in which the insertions and deletions are performed from different ends. That means insertion is performed from one end and deletion is performed from the other end. Okay, so queue is a linear data structure in which insertions are performed from one end and deletions are performed from other end. So the end from which insertions are performed is called a rear end, and the end from which deletion operations are performed is called a front end. So a queue has two ends. One is a rear end from which insertion operations are performed, and the other end from which deletions are performed is front end. Okay, so remember these words: rear end and front end. Queue has rear end for performing insertion operations, front end for performing deletion operations. Okay, and if you look at the principle on which queue works is FIFO. Remember this word. FIFO stands for first in, first out. That means whichever element comes first into the queue, it goes first out from the queue. So queues works based on this principle. What is that principle? It is FIFO, first in, first out principle. Okay, so you will understand this principle FIFO once we look at some examples. Okay, this is a sample diagram. You can view it like this. This is the rear end from which insertion operations are performed, and this is the front end from which deletion operations are performed. And the queue is represented as a array, one-dimensional array. Okay, and the insertion operation is called as NQ operation. Deletion operation is called as DQ operation. And this is a example which shows some elements into the queue. Uh, these are the elements inserted. Maybe the first element inserted is 25, the second element inserted is 30, third element inserted is 51, fourth element inserted is 60, fifth element inserted is 85. And if you want to insert a new element, it will be here, because this is the rear end and this is the front end. From rear end you need to insert new element. So what you do is increment the rear by 1. That means move rear to this position and insert the new element over here. So insertions are performed from rear end only, and if you want to delete, the deleted element should be 25 only, because front is pointing to 25. Okay, and front moves over here. After deleting 25, front comes over here. And then if you want to delete second element, it will be 30. So insertions are performed from this end, deletions are performed from this end. So that is what the concept is. Okay, there are three types of queues that we can implement: linear queues, circular queues, and DEX. The third one is DEX, which stands for double-ended queues. DEX means double-ended queues. So you need to understand the difference between DQ and DEC. DQ means it is an operation representing the deletion of element from the queue, whereas DEC is a type of queue which represents double-ended queue. So we'll see how these DECs work later. Okay, so let us begin with the linear queues. And in general, on any type of queue, three operations will be performed. One is NQ operation to insert a new element. The second one is a DQ operation to delete an element from the queue, and the general display operation to display the contents of elements in the queue. So we need to provide operations, three operations: NQ operation, DQ operation, and display operation on any queue. Okay, and if you look at the type of implementations, you can represent the linear queues, circular queues, and decks with the help of either using an array or using a linked list. So we all know this concept because queue is a data structure, and data structures can be implemented in either using array representation or using linked list representation. We all know this. If you implement queues by using arrays, then it means the number of elements that you can insert is limited, because the size of the array is fixed at the beginning, and only that many number of elements can be inserted. If you implement that queues using linked list, then you can insert any number of elements. The size of the queue is unlimited. Okay, so that is what it is. And let us begin implementation of queues using arrays. So what you need is you require a one-dimensional array. Create a one-dimensional array with some fixed size. Okay, and because the queues follows FIFO principle, you need to use two variables to represent two ends. Uh, One variable name is front to represent the front end, and the other variable name is rear to represent the rear end. Initially, front is set to 0 value, indicating that empty queue, and rear is set to -1. So remember these two values. This front is equal to 0 and rear is equal to -1 represents the empty queue condition. So if front is 0 and rear is -1, it means queue has no elements. Okay, so whenever we want to insert a new value into queue, then what we do is increment the rear value by 1 and insert the element at that position, new position. And if you want to delete an element from queue, then increment front value uh, and then uh, return the value at front, and then increment the value front by 1. Okay, so what you need to remember is, for inserting, rear will be incremented by 1, for deleting, front will be incremented by 1. Okay, right. So this is the steps used in enqueue operation. The function name is enqueue, and it requires one parameter, the value, to be inserted into the queue. So these are the steps that you need to perform for implementing enqueue operation. First, you need to check whether there is any room for inserting a new element or not. That means if queue is full, you cannot insert new element. Otherwise, you can insert. Okay, so you need to check whether queue is full or not. To check queue is full or not, this is the condition. If rear is equal to size -1, it means rear is pointing to the last position and you cannot increment rear. If you increment rear, it goes beyond the array. That means if rear is pointing to size -1, that is rear is equal to size -1, then queue is full. You cannot insert new element. Insertion is not possible. That is the first thing you need to do. If rear is equal to size -1, then we will display queue is full, insertion is not possible, and simply terminate the function. Otherwise, if queue is not full, then we can insert the new element by incrementing rear value, that is rear plus plus, and queue of rear is equal to value. So this is the value that we want to insert, and increment rear by 1, because rear is representing index of the array where to insert a new element. So queue of that new index is equal to value. Okay, so this is the procedure to insert a new element into queue. So this is the function void enqueue into value. If rear is equal to size -1, means queue is full, insertion is not possible, so that message will be displayed. Else you can insert the new element. The steps are very simple. Increment rear by 1, and it points to the new index in the queue, and simply insert the value at that new position, that is queue of rear is equal to value, and display this message: insertion is success. Okay, this is the diagrammatic representation of the operation. So assume that initially there are three elements there, 5, 7, 11, and I want to insert 15 into this, and 15 will be inserted here uh, after this 11. Okay, so rear is here. After incrementing rear by 1, it points to the next position, and the new value will be inserted over here. So A of 3 is equal to 15. Okay. And how do you know that Q is full? If rear is pointing to the last location, that is size minus 1 location. What is size minus 1 here? The size of the array is 7. What is the last index? It is 6. So if rear points to size minus 1 index, it means Q is full. So that is what we are checking at the beginning for inserting. If rear is pointing to the last location, it means Q is full, insertions are not possible. Okay. Now dequeue operation is for deleting a value from the queue. Please remember that the element to be deleted from the queue is always at the front element. So the element pointed by the front will be deleted from the queue. Not you cannot delete any other element from the queue. You can delete only the element which is pointed by this front position. Okay. So for performing deletion operation, these are the steps. First thing is you need to check whether queue is empty or not. If queue is empty, it means it does not have any elements, so deletion is not possible, right? So when you can perform deletion is if there are elements in queue, then only you can perform deletion operation. So the first thing is this is empty condition. If rear is equal to -1, it means queue is empty, then deletion is not possible. That is what the message you need to display. So if it is empty, then display the message queue is empty, deletion is not possible. If the queue is not empty, then uh, what you need to do is display queue of front and then perform this front plus plus. Okay, display the element at front because it is the element to be deleted, and then perform this front plus plus. So first display and then front plus plus. And another thing you need to remember is you need to handle that single element condition also properly. If queue contains one element, then you need to initialize the front to 0 and rear to -1 so that queue empty conditions are properly met. Otherwise, the next insertion and deletion operations will be wrong. Okay. So this is the code for dequeue operation. Uh, you need to remember this. There is no parameter taken here. If rear is equal to -1, then it means queue is empty, deletion is not possible. Otherwise, what is the deleted element? The element pointed by front. So what we display here is deleted queue of front. So the element at front will be displayed here. Deleted, the element will be taken here. And actual deletion happens here, front plus plus. This is not a physical deletion. By moving front one step forward, we say that this is not part of the queue. So 5 may be still there, but we don't consider it as part of the queue. So the elements between front and rear are part of the queue. So even though 5 available here, we don't consider it as part of the queue because queue is considered as from front to rear only. So whatever appears before front, we don't consider it. Whatever appears after rear, we don't consider it. Okay. So the deletion operation in queue is logical deletion only, not physical deletion. Please remember that. And if you perform another dequeue operation, it is 7. 7 gets deleted and front moves forward again, front plus plus. Okay. If you remove one more element, then front and rear will point to the same location. So whenever front and rear is pointing to the same location, it means there is single element. And if you remove that single element, then front should be properly initialized to 0. That is what we are doing. If front is equal to rear, front is initialized to 0 and rear is initialized to -1 to make sure that queue is empty. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So this condition handles that single element condition properly. Okay, otherwise front plus plus is sufficient, right? And display operation, if you see that queue is empty, then simply display the message queue is empty. Otherwise the elements will be there from front to rear. So use a loop to move from front to rear and display all the elements between front and rear. Okay, so this is the code for displaying. If rear is equal to -1, then we display the message queue is empty. Otherwise, take some variable I and this is the first message we are displaying. Q elements are, and use a for loops starting from front. I is equal to front and I less than or equal to rear, because rear also contains the element. Therefore I less than or equal to rear, I plus plus, increment one element at a time, one position at a time, and then just simply display it. Printf percentile d q of I. Okay, so the elements are always from front to rear only, so we display all the elements from front to rear. So this is what display operation is, and this is how, assuming that all the elements are filled and two elements are deleted, you can see the elements are always from front to rear only. So you need to display the elements between front and rear. So that is why I is equal to front, I less than or equal to rear conditions are used in for loop. So I is equal to front, I less than or equal to rear, and increment I plus plus to move from one element to the next element. Okay, right. So this is how display is performed. And with this linear queue implementation is completed. But the problem with linear queue is, uh, if you perform deletion operations now, suppose this is an example of having front at 2 and rear at 5. Okay, now queue actually contains two empty locations at the front side, but if you try to insert a new element into this queue, insertion will be failed. Why? The reason is rear is pointing to 5, that means size minus 1. Therefore you cannot insert a new element from rear position, right? So according to our linear queue condition, rear is full, but if you see, actually it is not full. There are two locations empty on front side. Even though two locations are empty on front side, you cannot utilize them for insertion purpose. So that is the drawback of linear queues. We can overcome this drawback with the help of circular queues. Okay, that means we assume in circular queues as uh, this last element is connected to the first element. That is how it can be overcome. Okay, so we'll see that circular queues implementation in our next class. But you need to remember the drawback of linear queues. What is it? Even though there are empty locations available on front side, you cannot utilize them for insertion purpose. That is the drawback of linear queue. Okay, so to overcome this, we make use of circular queues, right? So that's all for today. When we come back, we discuss about the circular queues concept. So thank you all. See you again in our next class.